And the first was, is there a difference between mobility and flexibility? And that's a great question. So mobility and flexibility are two different things. Mobility is how much your joints move, and that can be related to how your joints are built. Not everybody's joints are built the same. So people are built with hips and knees that move very differently. Also, there is soft tissue and ligament tissue around your joints that give you mobility. So mobility can be loosened up with things like deep tissue release or ART or some of the vibrating guns. That can definitely help mobility a bit. But it's important to know that, you know, some of the mistakes I see in my practice are people trying to compete with the person in yoga next to them. In fact, I saw somebody today who tore their hamstring on a home video because they were trying to do what the teacher was doing on the home video, and they tore their hamstring. So everybody's a unique snowflake, and you have to make sure that you're not trying to make your mobility, you know, different than somebody else's, versus flexibility, which is basically the length of your muscle tendon unit. In general, flexibility is probably overrated. So it's very nice to be able to reach down and touch your toes. We don't think that correlates much to injury risk at all. What we do think correlates is strength. So having strong muscles is way more important than having flexible muscles. Mobility relates to how much your joints move, which can be altered somewhat. It's largely genetic. Flexibility is how flexible your muscles are. And so the question was, should we be focusing on one over the other? And if I had a choice, I think mobility probably more, but I think strength more than either of those two. Number two question was, how can we easily identify imbalances around our hips and glutes? And that's a great question. And what I often tell my patients is that running is basically jumping from one leg to the next, left, right, left, right. You're never with 2 feet on the ground except the beginning and the end of your run, or if you stop to like tie your shoes or something or get a drink of water. So in general, running is a plyometric, meaning the muscle elongates and contracts very quickly, and you jump from one leg to the next, all the way down the road. And so for that reason, if you have a lot of muscle imbalance, you end up starting to tilt one side or the other, and you get many types of injuries around your knees and your hips. I see these things all day long. So when I see that in my patients, the key is to start building back up their strength. And so you know you can have a strength imbalance if you can basically, an easy thing to do is just do a single leg squat right out of a chair. Grant, we're gonna make you our model. Why the heck not? Considering you're the only guy we can see there. So back up a little bit. Is there a chair where you are? Is there a chair? I want you to stand right in front of your chair. Can you bring down the height of your monitor just a little teeny bit if that's doable? Good. And so is there a chair in back of you? I don't want you to fall on the ground. Good, all right. So I want you to stick first of all, I want you to stick your left foot in front of you and put your heel on the ground. Good. Your heel's on the ground, your foot's up, and I want you to sit down and stand up in that chair with your left foot, with your right foot in front of you. Good, controlled. Good, could do one more time. So your right foot should be in front of you. Your left foot should be underneath you. Is that where you are?
Left foot in front?
At this point, your right foot should be in front and your heel should be out. So you're,
oh, okay.
There we go, try that, down. So what I'm checking, just stand up and sit down a couple times, that's great. So what I'm checking for on Grant now is the strength around his glute muscles and the pelvic stability on his left side. Now do the same thing and switch legs. So have your left foot out and your right foot underneath. Your left heel should be on the ground. One more time. Now, everybody's watching this. Now, Grant's significant other there is an occupational therapist, so we have a ringer on there. But I want you to watch Grant. We're going to do this one more time, Grant. I want you to do the same thing. So I want you to put I'm going to have 2 squats on each side. I want you to watch Grant's pelvis when he sits down in the chair. So this is a perfect view. And watch him when he sits down with his right leg out. Now do the same thing with the other leg. Now the left leg is out. Whoa, good. Now, if I were watching that, I would say that I want Grant to be a little stronger in general. Hold on, you're not done yet. Go back there. I want Grant to be a little stronger in general, but it looks to me that when his left leg is out, he's a little more wobbly. That's my gut. Now we're going to find out. Scoot your chair back a little bit, Grant. Now we're going to give you the next level of challenge. Stand up. You can put your hands in front of you if you'd like. Now I want you to bring your, just straight out in front so we can see them. Straight out here. Perfect, good. I want you to stand up, and I want you to bring your left foot off the ground in front of you. So your left foot is off the ground. Your heel's not on the ground. So stand up normally. Now bring your left foot in front of you and off the ground. Good, so your whole foot should be off the ground. Good, now I want you to sit down in the chair with that left foot off the ground if you can. Try and control it as best you can. Whoop. Now try and stand up. Okay, one more of those. Now this is a single leg pistol squat out of a chair. Let's do the same thing on the other side. And this will give us a much better idea. Thank you. Helping hand in the back.
Yes, I don't want the chair to go.
What about him? She doesn't care about you, she just cares about the chair. Good, all right, so now I have a much better idea that watching Grant do a single leg pistol squat out of a chair, his left side is weaker than his right side. And if you saw on the left side, he was kind of really falling over to the left more, and that's why I was so glad to have the helping hand. What's your name, by the way, there in the corner?
Maureen.
Maureen, so I'm happy to have Maureen there helping Grant and protecting the chair. So Maureen protected the chair, but also protected Grant, and she prevented Grant from falling over. And so if Grant came in to see me with like runner's knee, an achy knee in the front of his knee, or an achy shin, you know, I would think about Grant from the ground up. So I think about, you know, do I want to get him in the right kind of shoe to kind of make sure he's aligned? But more importantly, I would think about from the hip down, are we doing enough to strengthen him? So I would start him working on some functional strength program and exercises